Hi everyone. In this session, we're going to talk about just some applications of data analytics. So the first one we're going to look at is database analysis and decision support. So in these areas, we can look at market analysis and management, and that's the main one I'm going to look at later. So within the market analysis and management, we're interested in target marketing, so trying to target towards particular customers, customer relationship management, so understanding your customers. Market basket analysis is trying to understand what kinds of things people buy together. Cross-selling, trying to sell things that you know to another, to sell other kinds of products to those people. Market segmentation, trying to group your segmentation is just another word for clustering, so grouping your market, clustering up your market. In terms of risk analysis and management, we're interested in forecasting, so it's a prediction problem, trying to retain customers and things like that. In terms of fraud detection and management, we're trying to identify fraudulent transactions and then manage them. We'll go through a couple of examples there. And then there's other applications like text mining and web analysis, which has become quite popular these days, and intelligent query answering. So first off, let's look at some of the tasks and things that you can do in the market analysis and management area. So first off, what kinds of data sources can we use in this area? Well, we can get credit card transactions. So these tell us what people bought. We can have loyalty cards. So loyalty cards are really good because they tie together your credit card transactions with demographic information. So, and because you can do that, then you can understand more about the people that make those transactions. Things like discount coupons, again, that's more information that you know about a person. There's customer complaint calls. So increasingly, customer complaint calls can be mined and analysed to understand patterns that can then feed back into the business. Social media, so things like Twitter, Facebook, again, increasingly this is being now used to feed back into the business, and things like lifestyle studies. So let's look at some of those particular tasks in there. So the first one is target marketing. Here we're trying to find clusters of, I guess, model customers, model in quotes. So clusters of customers who share the same kind of characteristics. So maybe they have the same income level or the same kind of spending habits. We could group our customers into maybe young customers that have, they don't have a family, they've got good jobs, they've got a lot of disposable income, versus young couples that are married and have children, and a mortgage, maybe they have less disposable income. And then compared to empty nesters, so these are older people, their kids have grown up and have left home, and now again they've got more money. So we can find different clusters or groups of modeled customers, and then we can understand how to target them. We might be trying to determine how customer purchasing patterns change over time. So for example, if you're a bank and you can identify when someone converts a single bank account into a joint bank account, that might suggest that that person is getting, or that customer is getting married. If that's the case, then maybe you can target them for particular ways. If you can understand when people are saving up for a mortgage in their account, in their bank account, then maybe that's a good time to start sending them, if you're a bank, sending them information about the mortgage plans that the bank has. We might be interested in cross-market analysis. This is all about looking at different sales, so for different products. So we might be looking at the associations between the sales of different products, or we might be looking at correlation between them. So if someone buys bread, they might also buy butter. We might be trying to do predictions based on the association. Again, if they buy a particular product, they might buy another product. We might be trying to do customer profiling. So here the data analytics can tell you what types of customers will buy particular products. So we can use clustering to look at the different groups of customers, or we could do classification, so a prediction. So if we know some information about customers and products they bought previously. We can build a supervised, you can use supervised machine learning algorithm to learn that mapping. And then when we get other customers, we can predict whether they're likely to buy a particular product or not. We might be trying to identify requirements for customers. So here we might be trying to predict to find what factors will attract new customers. And we might be trying to just provide summary information. So we might be trying to visualize the customers or produce statistical summary information like mean and variance. In terms of the corporate analysis and risk management areas, we might be trying to do finance planning and asset evaluation. So we might be trying to understand how cash flow happens in the business and predict what will happen in the future. We might be trying to do resource planning. Again, we might be trying to compare the resources that have been used in the past and then maybe to predict for the future. And we might be trying to understand our competitors, so monitor or predict what the competitors will do. We might be trying to set a pricing strategy. So if we sell a product and we have a whole lot of competitors selling similar products, we can try to work out what would happen if one of our competitors raised the price of their product or lowered the price of their product. How will that affect our sales? In fraud detection and management, we're trying to identify outliers. You can think of it as a classification problem, but it's a classification problem where you're trying to predict there's one very small class and one very big class, which you're not trying to predict. So we may have transactions and we're trying to predict which transactions are fraudulent. So for example, credit card transactions, which of the credit card transactions are fraudulent, which ones aren't? So one approach is to use historical data to build models of known fraudulent behaviour and then use the data analytics to identify similar instances. There's also a thing called one class classification, where you have one class which is the known good behaviour, and you're trying to predict anything that's not that, and that would be your fraudulent cases. So this can be used in money laundering, where we're trying to identify suspicious transactions. We might be, if we're interested in medical insurance or health insurance, we might be trying to identify which doctors are rorting the system. In insurance, we might be trying to identify people that stage traffic accidents to collect on the insurance. And then there's lots of other applications. So one really interesting one that you should maybe look up yourself is in sports. So there's quite a nice movie called Moneyball, which talks about how data analytics and statistics is used in sport. So lots of examples, and we'll see more throughout the semester.